I'm Kerry Rowett, and this is the Align and Attract podcast, helping you to create your version of an aligned business. Let's dive into today's episode.
Upgrading your beliefs in business. Today, we're going to be looking at some of our beliefs and how they are impacting on us, maybe at the moment. And we're going to consider which beliefs we might like to upgrade and how we really can just make the conscious choice to do that. We can look at what our beliefs are without getting drawn into it, without overthinking it, without judging ourselves. We can look at the belief and we can identify that it is just not working for us anymore. Maybe it's something we have picked up from the past. Maybe it's something we learned in childhood. It's something that we learned from a parent or another significant adult in our lives. Maybe it's something we've picked up earlier in our career, maybe when we worked in a different industry. Maybe we've even picked it up from our peers in our current industry. But whatever your beliefs are right now, you can totally change them. So let's dive in and have a look at this. So first of all, I'm going to ask you to think about what is actually possible for you in your business. So by starting to think about this, it can throw up some beliefs that maybe are not so helpful. So if you start to think about what is possible for you in relation to your impact, so that might be your impact in working with your specific clients, and maybe even a broader impact that you could be having on the world. You know, it's quite big, right? Then how does that make you feel, and what feels true for you? What do you believe about the level of impact that you can actually have? Now, I have worked with clients who do have really beautiful, expansive beliefs about the impact that they can have. But no sooner have they felt into that and they have really discerned that they believe that they are here to have a really big impact on the world, they then get completely intimidated by their own belief, and it brings up other beliefs sitting underneath it. So I want you to notice if this is happening for you. So for example, that could be, I'm not sure if I can really do that. Maybe that's my ego. I'm not really sure how to do that. Well, what about, this thing I did the other day? What about this webinar that I ran, or this Facebook Live that I did, and it only had this number of people who engaged with it? So maybe that's just all rubbish. Maybe I'm never going to have that level of impact. So can you hear, like, the initial belief may be quite positive, might be quite expansive, but then it brings up some beliefs sitting underneath it that say that's not actually possible for you. Who do you think that you are? So I'd love to know what has come up for you as you think about the kind of impact that you can have. And then, what kinds of beliefs you would like to really consciously choose. So let's just say you feel like I can have a really positive impact in the world, right? And then I would like you in this moment to consciously start to choose some beliefs that would support you with that overall belief. So, for example, I can do anything with the right support. I'm always learning and growing. I am available to serve in whatever way can have the most impact. Beliefs like that would support you in creating that bigger belief. Next, I want you to think about what is possible for you in relation to the kinds of results that your clients get. So it might be that already you're just like, you know what, my clients get amazing results. I know it, I believe it, my clients tell me it. that feels really solid for me. And that would be a time where your beliefs don't need to be upgraded. They are already awesome. It could be, however, that your clients do tell you they get great results, but you always have a little bit of a doubt or a worry. Or instead of focusing on the clients and the participants in your programs that do get incredible results, instead you worry about the one or two people who don't like it. Perhaps, maybe you have been asked for a refund or two in your time, or perhaps it's people who just don't engage with it. They don't even complete the work. So they, of course, don't get the results, but you find yourself being more focused on them. Or maybe that person works with you one-on-one, but they don't actually follow through. And then unfortunately, they don't get the results that they could otherwise get. And again, you find yourself more focused on that than you are on the people who do get incredible results and outcomes and transformations from their work with you. So think about the kinds of beliefs that you may already have. So, for example, it could be my clients do get amazing results. And then anything that comes up underneath that, where it's like, sometimes they don't, and I blame myself. When some of my clients don't get great results, I wonder if there's something I could have done more. So what might an upgraded belief look like in this situation? It could be, I know that when my clients show up and do the work, I help them to get amazing results. Or it could be, I am always improving the ways I support my clients to get the best possible outcomes. I always attract clients who are ready and willing to show up for themselves, and I know I can get them great results. Something along those lines. So think for yourself, what would feel really, really good? Next, I want to look at income. So what do you believe is possible for you in relation to your income goals? Now, this is something I talk about in my private client sessions quite a lot. Some people, a lot of people over the years have definitely brought this as a goal to their sessions, and it can bring up some negative or limiting beliefs. So it could be, other people in my family have never earned that amount of money, or if I was to earn that amount, I would outgrow my friends. People in my life might judge me or criticize me. I might become too visible. It could be, I've got that huge income goal, but then when I don't achieve it, I just fall in a heap. And rather than thinking about, is this an alignment problem or is this a strategy problem, which is something we've talked about in a previous episode, instead, they just decide that it's not possible for them. So the downgraded belief could be, it's just not possible for me. I don't know why it's not working. It just becomes kind of like this dead end. Why bother? Because I just can't get there anyway. And it's like, so for example, let's just say your income goal was $1 million, and this is something plenty of my clients have worked on in their sessions with me. But if every time you hit up against a challenge or a launch does not go as well as you would have hoped, and then you turn around and have these negative beliefs coming up, or limiting beliefs, or you make it mean something like, I'm not good enough, I'm obviously not supposed to get to that level, I'm not capable of that, I don't know, other people can do it, I can't. Any kinds of beliefs like that, they're just going to stop you from solving the problem, Whereas if you can just see whatever your next income goal is as a fun problem, something that's kind of creative, you're doing it because it would be really interesting to learn how to do that. It feels really expansive. It feels really motivating. Other people have done it, so therefore it must be possible for you. You maybe just need to learn some things. You need to upgrade your strategy, or you need to upgrade your mindset. If you believe that, you're going to take actions which are going to be more likely to support you to create that goal. So that's why looking at our beliefs can be really useful and really important, because it comes back to the aligned actions. Difficult to take aligned action if you don't believe something's possible, or you don't really think it's going to happen anyway. You kind of end up thinking, what does it matter what I do, because I'm never going to get there? And how's that going to serve you? And how is that going to serve all of the people who could be benefiting from your work and benefiting from the impact, that you could have in the world? So some other areas that you might look at what you believe is possible for you could be in terms of time. So the only way I could make more money, for example, is to work heaps more hours. I'm just not willing to do it. So I've had so many people say that to me over the years. And it's like, it's just a belief. Of course, you'll be able to find examples of people who have made a lot more money than what you are currently making and done it in less hours. Maybe those examples aren't so readily available. You might be more tuned in to the examples where people are just really hustling and working a million hours. Does not mean that is inevitable, and does not mean that you need to do it that way. So what is possible for you in relation to your time and also your energy? So again, does creating more success mean that you have to be more tired, more depleted? Well, likely not, because it tends to be those people who are more successful often will have really abundant energy. You kind of need to be able to operate at that more expansive level. So just think about how you currently feel about time and energy, and what you would really like to choose to believe and to feel. So for example, I can create a successful business, or I can grow my business however many hours I choose to work. I just need to become smarter. I can learn strategies that will enable me to grow my business in less hours. I can have really abundant energy, whatever the size of my business. When I have got a successful business, I can have really vital energy, whatever it is that is going to feel good for you, and is also going to then inspire actions that are in alignment with that. So of course, there's no point in just thinking, I'm going to have really great energy with this really successful business, but then I'm going to completely ignore the basics of business, which I talked about in the dopamine and business alignment episode of, my food, my exercise, and my sleep. Those things don't apply to me. I just magic up my energy. Of course, if you're going to do that, it's going to make it much, much harder to have really abundant energy in a sustainable way over the longer term. But if you believe that you can have great energy, and you also take the actions that are going to support you to have high energy, guess what? You're more likely to be able to achieve that. So what you believe leads into your actions and leads into your reality. So start to see it that way. You're creating your reality through your actions, and your beliefs can really support the actions that you take. So next up, how do you see yourself? So sometimes we can have beliefs and stories that we have told about ourselves. So for example, I'll hear people say, I'm an introvert and therefore da 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 da. I have always blah blah blah. I never, whatever it might be. It's not possible for me to, or I'm just the kind of person who. So I would love you to start to think of some more of your own examples. How do you currently see yourself? I'm just not confident. I'm just, not that extroverted person who can network and who can show up really visibly on Facebook Lives all the time, or on Insta Lives. Whatever this story is that you're telling yourself, or if indeed there are any stories like that you're telling yourself, remember that you can change that. So you could change it to, for example, I can choose whichever strategies I would like to use in my business. I can be confident in my business. I can have really expansive energy in my business, and I can succeed in my business in many different ways. And it can also be like I can do things in my own way. So it can be sometimes we're a bit fixated and focused on what it is that we don't have, the qualities that we don't possess, the ways that we think that we might fall short, and we get stuck in this comparison with other people. And it is just rubbish, because if you really look around and you're honest, you'll see that there are people with all different kinds of personalities who show up in all different kinds of ways, who use all different kinds of strategies to achieve success. There is not just one linear path. There's not just one way of doing things. And if you are finding that you are really getting stuck on noticing how people who are different from you operate and show up and achieve success, you just might need to put some blinkers on and bring it back to you. Really get to understand your own strengths and the ways that you actually shine. If you're trying to force yourself to do things that you don't enjoy or that aren't a natural fit for you, well, you are going to find it harder. So really decide, and this could be your upgraded belief. I find the ways that I best shine. I find the ways that I best show up and connect with my ideal clients. I find the best ways for me to grow my business in ways that are in alignment with who I am and how I absolutely love to work. If you believe that's true and you believe that that is possible, you will find those ways. If you get stuck in thinking, oh, no, that's for other people, I just need to be different. Rubbish. Stop thinking that. That's just going to make you feel like shit. You don't need that. Okay. That was a mini rant by me. But I get it, because I think this is something I have certainly done. Like, probably in the earliest stages of my business, I can certainly see where I did that. I thought, I'm pretty shy. I am hopeless at networking. Like, for me to show up and talk to people about what it is that I did and explain kinesiology. I started my business in 2009. I mean, of course, well, maybe not of course, but the fact is no one really did know what it was. And I was not great at explaining it, and certainly not great at like selling it or anything like that. So that was not going to be a good strategy for me. Now, I could have kept on telling myself, that's what you need to do. That's how you become successful. How are you going to grow a business if you can't do those things? But instead, thankfully, I leaned into my strengths, which were in writing and I guess in kind of connecting online. So at that time, blogging was really big, and I used to write blog posts which were really well suited to my ideal clients and could help them to solve a problem, but could also help them to see how I could support them with a range of different problems and help them to feel better about themselves and so on. And so I had a lot of clients who would come to me because they had read a blog post that I had written, and it just felt so personal to them. And they would say to me, I felt like you wrote that just for me. So that was just because I lent into my strengths. So it's just an example. I want you to do the same thing in your own business. Really get clear, what are my strengths? Lean into those and know that when you are working with your strengths, that's how you are going to create a greater level of success. You don't need to be somebody else. You just need to be you, and to, use the kinds of strategies that actually work for you and connect with your ideal clients. Finally, I want you to think about, how do you respond when things don't go your way in business? What are your go-to thoughts and your go-to words when something doesn't go right? And it could just be something little where, you've just gotten a piece of feedback. Like, it could just be that somebody cancelled, or somebody just didn't respond so well to something that you did, or you didn't get the response on social media. in maybe one post or even more, or you didn't get the number of signups for something that you'd hoped for, what tends to be the things that you would think or say in those kinds of situations? So it could be, I'm just not good enough. There must be something wrong with me. I'm not cut out for this. This is too difficult. Maybe I should just go back to a job. Like, what kind of go-to thoughts are you in your experience? What do you notice popping up for you? And then this is the place that we can start to really decide that we are a person who is very resilient and very resourceful, and we move through challenges. We just can. So it's like, when those things happen, if you can just start to really consciously see this as things that just happen in business. So it's like, this is just something that happens in business. Right now, this thing is happening to me. There might be a change I can make. So you can always do that self-analysis and reflection. Maybe if you need to upgrade something or change something, great, go ahead and do that. But you choose to continue to see yourself as a resilient, resourceful, capable, confident person who can handle this, who is really got what it takes to be successful in business and to really create what it is that you desire. So I would really encourage you to do that, to start to see yourself as someone who is capable of creating, who is capable of achieving, who is capable of working towards your goals, and that setbacks are really not a big deal to you because of that greater belief that you have that you are a successful person who just moves through challenges if they happen to appear and continues to move to that next level. And you do it, for whatever reason it is that resonates for you. I keep on growing and I keep on moving to that next level and I keep on expanding. I keep on creating more success because it's fun for me, or because I enjoy it, or because I want to. Like, whatever it is that feels really good for you, or because of the impact that means I can have in the world. So for example, going back to what we were talking about earlier about that increased level of income, you could really link that into that increased level of income or revenue, whichever you focus on, or you may focus on both, allows me to have a greater impact in the world and helps me to contribute to causes and issues that might concern or trouble me, and to really feel that I'm making a difference with the dollars that I am making. So it's those kinds of beliefs that can really become a part of who you are, and a part of what makes you a very successful person. So I would love you to continue to think about this, to continue to notice the beliefs that pop up for you. And when you notice any kind of belief coming up, just observing it. So it'd be great if you can just start to notice those beliefs when they arise, and then asking yourself, is this a belief that supports me? Is this something I would like to hang on to? If not, how might I upgrade that belief? What would be something else that I could choose to believe about myself, or about this situation, or about what I'm creating, that would be more supportive, more expansive, and that would inspire me rather than limit me? I hope you loved this. I've had a great time chatting with you, and it would be great if you would please share this episode with a friend. Maybe you guys can talk it through together. Till next time.
This was episode 7 of the Align and Attract podcast with Kerry Rowett. And you can find all of the relevant show notes over at alignandattract.com/blog/7. If you would love to work on upgrading your beliefs, or maybe you've found out you've got some beliefs which really do feel a bit limiting, feel a bit heavy, and you're not quite sure how to shift them, why not take those beliefs into my free workshop called refresh. I take you through a group Reiki healing, and you can really focus on the intention of releasing these beliefs and upgrading those beliefs within that healing space. You can find it at alignandattract.com/refresh. I'd love to hear how you go. Let me know over at Awaken Kinesiology on Facebook or at Kerry Rowett on Instagram. Thank you so much for being here, and I will